Hey everyone, I'm back with another unboxing, and this is a pretty exciting one because it's literally the heaviest motherboard I've ever unboxed. I mean, I can't believe the weight of it. I'm just going to weigh it just to confirm how heavy the box is. 4.4 kilograms almost, which is quite a lot. I'll put the Freedom Units version up as well, but yeah, it's the heaviest motherboard I've ever seen. It's also quite a special one because this is actually the Stealth motherboard, which means it's a back connect motherboard, and this is part of a build I'm doing where I want 0 cables to actually be on display, which is going to be pretty cool, and I'll link to details of that when it's actually ready. But for now, let's unbox this motherboard, and it's the X870 Aorus Stealth Ice, which is obviously on the AM5 socket. It's PCI Gen 5 ready for both, the PCI Express port and also the M2 drives. It supports 5 gig Ethernet and Wi-Fi 7, which is really, really good. And then it also actually has 16x2x2 power phases, which also is very good. It's got loads of input-output. It supports, USB 4 Type-C. It's actually got 2 of them, and obviously it's got loads of M2 ports as well. So that's brilliant. So now let's unbox it and see why this is so heavy. Can't get my fingers in there. Gonna turn it the other way. Oh, come on. You think the weight would just mean it would just fall out, but nope. Yes, finally, blinking heck. That is a very impressive box. So that says original in stealth. And yeah, there's not that many back connect motherboards at all. It's something I'm going to be quite interested to explore. So yeah, original in stealth. It's got this little tab then. Oh, did you see that? I'm going to do that again. Oh. And it's got the little Aorus sticker as well if you wanted to put that on your case. X870 Aorus Stealth. Wow, we only want the Aorus Stealth. So that is that. Oh, that was a nice unboxing. And then you've actually got the motherboard as a whole. So let's take that out. Oh god, that's heavy. It's actually the motherboard that's heavy. Blinking heck. Let me weigh that again. 1 minute. 2.4 kilograms. I've never had a motherboard weigh that much. That is a seriously heavy motherboard. And the ports are all on the back, which we're going to look at in a minute. But first, what else is in the box? Let's have a look. So we got some manuals and things like that, whatever. And then, yeah, not much else. We've got to slam that down a bit too much. But essentially, this is the Wi-Fi 7 adapter. So you've got a little plug that goes into the back of the motherboard, and then this just sits somewhere. So instead of having 2 antennas sticking out the back of your motherboard and catching on stuff, you've actually got a little bit of a longer cable, and you can put this somewhere on your desk, which is actually a much nicer design. We've then got, oh god, that's heavy. Yeah, I keep slamming that down, but that is really heavy. Right, I'll be more gentle with that. Then we got some SATA cables, obviously, and then the usual things, M2 rubber pads that we can see there. And we've also got the easy DIY adapter thing. So basically for your front panel connectors, you can plug everything in here, in this side, and then you plug that into your motherboard. So that is the actual box itself. That is a really nice unboxing experience. But next we can look at the actual motherboard. Right, so let's pull that out. Look at that. Look at that. That is lovely. So that is the back, and obviously the ports are all on the back, and that's what makes this motherboard so unbelievably special, is that actually in the front of your case, you don't have any wires, apart from maybe the actual graphics card wire for the PCI Express cable, but other than that, you just don't have anything. Okay, so this is the actual motherboard, and yeah, this is called the Aorus Ice, which usually means it's like a white effect, but in practice it's more like a white silvery sort of effect, which I quite like, but you've got to know it's not like a pure white motherboard. Obviously you've got your 4 RAM sticks, you've got the space for the CPU, which is AM5 of course, and then up here you've actually got an LED for actual error codes and things like that. But you've also got these 2 panels, one here, and it's all easy connect. So essentially that's one of your Gen 5 NVMe slots. You can see there, and all you do when you're done with it is you slide it back in there and you put it back. So you just got this little thing there that you have to actually move, and then you can raise it, and that is really easy. Then we got this panel here as well. So same story, you move that, and then you can do this, and it slides out. And that then exposes the rest of the motherboard. So obviously the other M2 slots. So in total you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously there are some downsides, like with any consumer level motherboard. If you absolutely max out all the PCI Express and, M2 slots and the SATA ports, then something's going to give, because there's not going to be enough bandwidth from the CPU and the chipset. But in general, as long as you're aware of what happens if you, plug in certain ports and stuff, then that's absolutely fine. So let me just put that back. So I'm going to slide that in there. Oh, it's so easy. So yeah, that is that. Then we've got our I/O. This is such a heavy motherboard. Right, got our I/O there. So basically, we've got loads of USBs. We've got some 2.0s, some 3.2s, HDMI, some USB 4, which also supports DisplayPort, and then you've got the slightly slower USB-C 10G as well. Then you've got this for BIOS flashback and things like that, and then, your 5 gig Ethernet. And this then is where the actual Wi-Fi antenna goes. So you plug it in there, and that's it. Now we will very carefully put this down. So this is what makes the motherboard so special, is that all the actual connectors are on the back of the motherboard. So essentially when you're looking at a finished build with this Gigabyte Stealth motherboard, you're not going to see some of the big bulky motherboard headers here, or your CPU headers there, or any of the little fan headers and your front panel connectors. You're not going to see any of that. It leads to such a nice looking design. Then you've got your actual fan headers up here, so the CPU one up there, CPU fan there, and system fan number 4, and your other system fans are down here. And then I'll just run through the rest of the board. So you've got your F audio, your LED demo, ARGB, and that's the 3-pin ones, that's not RGB, that's the addressable RGB with 3 pins, SPI, TPM, so if you want like a separate TPM module, you could potentially use that, but obviously you won't need that if you've got like a standard AM5 CPU, you're probably not going to need that. This is then for USB 2, you've got more system fan headers, you've got your front panel connectors, DB Sense as well there, USB 3.2, another system fan header, 2 more SATA ports, and then USB 3 Type-C 20 gig as well, which you sometimes don't get on even, B850 motherboards. It's quite nice that you've got that. Then you've got a 4-pin BRGB, they call it, header for, slightly older non-addressable RGB and everything else. Then you've got something else there. What have you got? GDV. You've got EC Temp 1 as well, so that's actually going to be for a thermistor header and things like that. Then you've got another EC Temp 2 header, so this is really, really loaded with headers. Fan 6 pump, Fan 5 pump, ARGB version 2, so you've got one there and one there, and then you've actually got your 24-pin power. So what this means is when this is actually in your build, you're seeing the front of this with no cables, and then in the back of your case, if your case supports it, and not all do, but if your case supports it, then you can actually, put all of the connectors in there, and you've got a really clean build. So that is the Gigabyte X870 Aorus Stealth. It's not that common to actually get. Some countries it isn't for sale yet, but hopefully it will be rolled out more because it is a really nice looking motherboard and I'm really looking forward to building it. When that build is finally ready, I'll put a link in the description if I remember. If not, drop me a comment and then I'll try and remember. And other than that, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click the thumbs up button and please subscribe to see more short videos like this. Thanks for watching.